Alright, I got my work cut out for me. Yes, I came from this side this time. I never come from there. I should come from that side. Not too far into that side, but you know. So I got my work cut out for me because lo and behold, what started as a one movie review has turned to three, and then to four. Because I'm a bit of a whore, you see, when it comes to I'm a completionist. And even if it's technically something, I still have to do it. So, only a little. Alright, so it's come down to this. I've been wanting to do a review for Terror Train for quite a while, you know. I'd never seen it before. It's my first time watching. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I've been wanting to do it, and I know it's a New Year's horror film, so I said, okay, New Year's is coming up, I might as well do it. If I knew I'd have to put this much work in, I probably would have done it sooner. But, so, as I was searching for a thumbnail, right, I typed in on the Google Terror Train, and then a tube popped up. I'm like, what? They made a sequel? And when I clicked it, I was given pictures of something strange, or there's a black lady and there's a clown, and then there's two different pictures, one with the black lady and the clown that said Terror Train, and there's another one that said Terror Train 2, and I'm like, wait, what? Lo and behold, unbeknownst to me, probably only me, they made a remake of this in 2021, then decided to do a sequel to that 1 year later in 2022. That was last year around this time. My surprise, I thought I paid attention to this shit. And when I searched in the YouTube search bar, turns out some people that I'm subscribed to, like Dr. Wolfula and Sinister Cinema, and even Drum Thumbs, have done reviews on these. And I'm just like, blow my mind that either I wasn't paying attention or my brain just forgot it. Because So I watched this, right? And then I was watching Sinister Cinema's review on this from years ago. It's so far back, it was even before he started doing Slasher Sunday, which is gotta be a long time ago, right? So, during that video, though, he was talking about another movie called Train, which itself was supposed to be a remake of Terror Train. So now, because he said that, I have to do that movie too. And guess what? It's on Tubi. All of these are, because Tubi produced the remake and its sequel. This has been on there for a while. Now that's on there too. So I went from having one movie to do to, okay, 3, I gotta do the remake and its sequel. Now 4, because of this movie Train that is not really connected, but because it was supposed to be originally a remake, I feel obligated to do it. But let's kind of cool all that down. And we're going to talk about this Terror Train from 1980, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, David Copperfield, and Hart Bochner. Hart Bochner. Yes, from Die Hard and Urban Legends Final Cut. People, stop messaging me on Facebook. I'm trying to do a review. We were having a conversation before this about Star Wars, and I'm like, this is going to keep going forever. I need to do this review. So, this is brought to us by Canada. Yes. It's a Canadian film, and you can tell with things like sorry and about and oat. Yes, except for Jamie Lee Curtis, who, is American, so she says sorry, but then you got other ones saying sorry. She does kind of stick out. But the story here is that they pull a prank on this. They're college students. They pull a prank on this guy named Kenny Hampson, where they set him up with Jamie Lee Curtis's Elena, but it turns out it's actually a dead corpse. This causes him to have a mental breakdown and go into a mental hospital. And 3 years later now, all of these college students, graduating college students now 3 years later, are on a train on New Year's Eve, which I only mentioned a couple times, but it is a New Year's Eve. And they get killed off one by one by this masked killer who, unlike most slasher killers, changes his mask from time to time. He starts out just like a Groucho Marx, then he's like a big lizard, then there's another mask. It's very interesting. You don't see that often. You stick with one mask. Even like all the other posters and trailers to show not trailers, but posters and DVD box sets and stuff, DVD boxes, whatever, cases, have that Groucho Marx mask, because that's the one that's well known. But, and so if you don't know what's going on when you see the guy in the Groucho mask and you're like, okay, so that's the killer, but then he gets killed off right away, so now who is this? Well, who the killer is obvious. It's obvious it's Kenny, but, what's it leading to? What's the, how is he getting around? And, look, like I said, I'd never seen this before. I knew very little about this. I knew it was from Canada. I knew Jamie Lee Curtis was in it. I knew it was about New Year's Eve. So they tried this plot twist that for me doesn't work, because anyone with a fucking eyeballs could see that it's him. But they show, so like I mentioned, David Copperfield is on here as the magician, right? So he's on this train doing tricks. I don't even know where the hell this train is supposed to be going, but he's on this train, he's doing tricks, and then they introduce his assistant, which is quite literally Kenny in a wig. And we're supposed to believe that they can't recognize him because he's wearing a blonde wig and makeup and dressed up. And what's even worse is if you couldn't figure it out from earlier on in the film, because I was a little bit iffy at first, but I'm like, that's a dude. That's a dude. Which nowadays you could do something with that, right? Make you think it's an obvious dude dressed as a woman, but no, it's just a trans person, and the real killer is somewhere else, who knows. You can even do dual roles nowadays with stuff like that, But anyway, yeah, it's obviously him. But they do a thing where they dub over his voice with a woman's voice. How he's doing it, I have no idea. I don't know. It's never explained. But like maybe sometimes you can see his lips move when the voice is going off. Most of the time, it cuts away from him when the female voice is talking. So it's quite obviously dubbed over, which means, I don't know. Why couldn't they have him do a female? Maybe they tried it and it didn't sound feminine enough. I would say get Paul Walker. He did a pretty good feminine voice in Joyride, but who knows? But yeah, it was kind of ruined because you kind of already knew it was Kenny, but then once they showed the assistant, it's like, okay, obviously that's him. How does no one else realize this? We're supposed to believe they can't tell. Also, is there some kind of gay subtext between Art Bachner's character, Doc, which is all they ever call him by, and the character of Mo, who is Alanda's boyfriend? Like, there's a scene where they're talking, and Mo is talking about how Alanda's mad at him, and he goes, well, she breaks up with you, you still have me. And he's like, yeah, but I mean it. Is that supposed to be subtext? Is that supposed to be something? I don't know, but interesting. The kills are pretty much cutaways. Yeah, I don't know. They're pretty much all cutaways. You see aftermath effects, like, I don't know. And one of the biggest ones, you want to see Doc die, right? Because he's the jerk, he's a jackass, he's played by Art Buckner, so he's good at it. Ellis from Die Hard and all that. But there's a part where the killer, he thinks it's his girlfriend, Mitchie, which, whoever thought that Mitchie is short for Michelle is an idiot. That doesn't even, there's no T in Michelle. How does whatever. Michie, maybe. Or Shelley. Shelley could be short for Michelle. I work with a Shelley who's short for Michelle. But Mitchie, I don't know. It just sounds stupid. Sorry. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. If it is, I apologize. But I don't know. the only Mitchie I know is from Camp Rock movies. But anyway, where it's obviously Kenny putting his hand, because he has skinny ass hand, with Mitchie's rings. Oh, Mitchie. And then you see the knife come in to decapitate him, and it cuts away. And you don't see it till later. Like the head and everything. Also, there is a part where there's a lot of times where they're trying to get into this bathroom on the train. They can't get into it because it's locked. And because we see the killer, dressed as Groucho Marx, killed the lizard guy, bashing his head into the freaking mirror. So we see that on screen. We see that. That's like one of the only ones that are on screen, which is, it's not bad. But what had me scratching my head and calling bullshit is that eventually the train conductor, Carney, opens the door from the outside using the key thing, right? He has his own special pass key that he's able to do it and open it, right? When he opens it, he sees a dead body laying there, whatever. He then proceeds to relock the door and go get the other guy. And when he shows him, the guy is now not dead. The blood has been cleaned up, and Kenny is now inside of this costume. We find out later that it is Kenny. Bullshit. Bullshit. How did he do that? First of all, how is the door still locked? Because, as we've seen, the only person who can lock or unlock it from the outside is the conductor with the passkey. Right? So, how was Kenny able to kill the guy, then lock the door again, and kill more people, and then go back in? It doesn't make any sense. Because if he left, the door would then be unlocked, because people would have found the body sooner. You see what I'm saying here? Unless he has another passkey, which is never explained, it just doesn't make any sense at all. Alright? Also, Moe's death, where he's sitting there and he's just like, how did he get killed? I don't know. It's confusing. Most of these are off screen, and it's just a little disappointing. I also found that sometimes the score undermines what's going on. It like overpowers the stuff, what's going on. I'm like, okay, can we like the volume of the score sometimes overcomes the what's going on. Like people are talking sometimes, and the score, like I know they're dancing at a party, that stuff, that's fine. But when there's a chase scene or something, I don't know. It just, maybe it's my hearing. I don't know. Just a little weird. I also thought the ending was dumb. All right. So first of all, by this point, Elena thinks that it's the magician for some reason. So they don't give us any real backstory on Kenny, other than Elena said she went to see him in a mental institution, and she found out that he killed someone once, but they thought it was an accident. That was added in so that they could have a reason for him to be killing people, is because he killed one person before. Because, you couldn't just say that he snapped and lost his mind. He's got to have some kind of, But then to say, oh, he killed someone before, oh, but it was probably an accident. Well, then that undermined the killing someone. It was an accident, whatever. But she thinks it's the David Copperfield, the magician. Then he's found in a box of swords. I've always been curious to how that works. Because you see the swords go in. The only thing I think of is that they're actually like fake swords that do that. And so they go in and it doesn't go into the box or anything. But they do often show sometimes. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's going to do the switcheroo. Where the assistant disappears from the box or something. I don't know. Anyway, he's found in his box of swords. And she freaks out and she runs to the conductor's box and thinks she finds Charlie, the second conductor, but it's not Charlie. He's actually dead, and this is Kenny. And this is where we find out the reveal that he was the assistant. No shit. Like, he takes off the conductor hat and the wig's underneath, and they flash it on screen that he was the assistant. Yeah, no shit. Anyone with 2 eyes could tell that was him. And then she tries to apologize to him, but he doesn't accept it. And then they get into a struggle, and then Carney comes in, hits him with a shovel, he falls out the window of a train, which wouldn't be open, but okay, he falls out the window, and then just lands on his ice. Body falls in the river, floats away. We see a shot of the train driving off. Movie ends. What is my biggest pet peeve with movies, especially slasher films? When they don't have a wrap-up scene to finish it off. Alright? Imagine Psycho. If it ended after Vera Miles' character finds the dead body, and here comes Norman, and the kids are going, and he takes him down, and then the movie just ended there. The end. Right? No, you need that wrap-up scene with the psychiatrist telling him exactly what's going on, because it's kind of confusing as to, what's going on with Norman's head and everything. So we need more explanation. What they should have done is waited for the explanation of, that he accidentally killed someone. But they found out it was, they find out it's Kenny, there's cops show up, and they don't understand. They only killed one person before, and it was deemed an accident. Except it wasn't an accident. The mental hospital actually covered it up, or something like that. This guy is a psycho, and they kept him in the psycho ward. He was in a padded room and recently escaped. Something like that. Went nuts. He kept saying he was planning revenge, so they had to keep him in a padded room, but he was able to escape, or something like that. Because, we never figure out how he got out of the mental institution. And because the movie is on a train the entire time, there's no real, there's no real other setting, and there's no, sorry, I got itch, outside world connection. We just know he went to a mental facility, know he accidentally killed someone once, and that's supposed to be enough to, as a motivation, getting revenge for what happened to him, sure. I mean, it was just a prank, bro. But still, I don't know. You know what I thought would be something? So there's a scene after we cut away from the decapitation of Hart Bochner, and there's a scene a little bit later where Charlie, I think it's Charlie, or one of the conductor people, finds his body. Wouldn't it be something if we found the body and it's not Hart Bochner, but someone else? Maybe it's Kenny, right? And we find out that an accidental killing was actually him, Doc, because he learned that Kenny was going to get let out for good behavior because he'd been a model person. So he framed him for an accidental murder. And he's been the one killing the people because he's gone. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he suffered a psychotic break that night. Maybe he's always been psychotic. Or maybe Kenny's not involved at all. And the body they found is, Kenny's... Maybe you don't see that scene where he's decapitated, but they find him and they think it's him and they find out it's Kenny's body. Maybe Kenny was there, in disguise, trying to stop him. Or maybe Kenny's not even involved at all. And they think it's Kenny Hampson, but it's really him. And they could play on the subtext of he was killing everyone. He killed Mitchie. It was his girlfriend. She was cheating on him. And he killed the guy that she was cheating on him with. And then, her friend was egging it on, so he killed her, and all that, and all because he actually really has feelings for Mo, and I don't know, he's confused and he's gone. I don't know, maybe not to put someone who may be gay in the spotlight to cause them to be crazy. I don't know, but it would have been something if there was a twist and Hart Buckner was actually the killer. Maybe it's because, urban legends thing. As it is, this movie was fine. I'm going to give it a middle of the road. I enjoyed it for what it was. I wasn't bored with it or anything. Although there is a lot of scenes where people were just partying on the train. The kills are few and far between. I mean, there's a decent number of kills, but you get a kill, then party scenes or a magic scene, something. Like. By the way, what is this trick with the cigarette and the quarter? How the hell does that work? Like, a lot of things you can spot the trick. Oh, it's a rigged deck. How do you spot that? I don't know. But yeah, it's the middle of the road. But it may end up being the best one of these. I don't have faith in the two remakes, the remake and the sequel. And I don't know about Train. I don't know, but we shall see. I'm going to try to get all 4 of those done today. We shall see. It depends on when Billiam puts up his video on Lost. Because once that's up, I'm probably done. Instead of putting it up today, my luck, it'll be tonight. And it'll be an all night. Then, hey, reason for me to stay up till midnight. It'll be New Year's. So, what are your thoughts on Terror Train? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.